The format for the training is that we will walk through each tab line by line, starting at the top of the tab, and explain the dynamics that are occurring and driving the formulas in each line. We intersperse this line-by-line explanation with hands-on exercises for you to perform. Here on the Typical Transaction tab, we have a 4-year timeline with quarterly periods. Our acquisition assumptions are shown in the top left-hand box, where we have inserted a purchase price of $25 million and fee amounts that result in an all-in cost of $25.9 million for our typical asset. Moving across to the right, we see our financing assumptions are a 5-year interest-only acquisition loan at a 60% loan-to-value, or $15.54 million at 5% annual interest. This yields a residual equity requirement to the fund for each transaction of $11.055 million. Moving over to the right, we have our cash flow assumptions. First, our unleveraged annual yield on all-in cost, which we have input at 7.75%. What this means is that before any debt service obligations, we are forecasting that this prototypical investment will be generating a 7.75% annual return on the purchase price plus acquisition costs. Let's look at the Fund tab overview now. The 3 main sections we have are net cash flow to the fund, the limited partner capital account calculation, and the partnership cash flow distribution. The cardinal rule we mentioned before refers to the required match between lines H and Q. The LP account calculation is really an interim step that flows into the partnership section. Now let's move over to the Fund tab. There's a lot going on here, so let's go ahead and pick it apart piece by piece and then reassemble it all. In the top left, we have our general fund level assumptions: anticipated total capital commitment, fund startup costs, and the share of the fund to be owned by the limited partners. The residual amount by default will be owned by the general partner. Now let's go ahead and review the solution for the catch-up mechanism. The formula here says the following: if the net cash flow is positive, then we take the lesser of the fund manager's share of net cash flow and 15% of the cumulative LP and manager cash flow less all cash flow to the fund manager paid to date. Otherwise, we return a 0.